Hello, everybody. Welcome to Blondes and Booze Paranormal Podcast. I'm Krista, and this is
Brandy.
And we have our friends Holly and Terry here tonight with us. And we are. Oh, wait a minute. Wait a second. Hold on. Okay, better. I had the chat up. Anyway. Hey, Michael.
Hey, Michael.
So tonight we thought since it's October, we thought we'd talk about some of the places around the United States that Brandy and Holly and Terry have all went to. And I'm a little jealous because I had to stay back, but they've had some good times. I've seen their pictures and their videos, and I'm a little jealous. So I guess we'll just jump on into it. I do want to say Erin's going to be on at some point tonight. I'm not really too sure where she's at, but when she gets in here, we'll let her in the room. So, Brandy, you want to start?
Well, all I wanted to do this evening is, because we're in the middle of spooky season, I wanted to talk about places that we have investigated. And
Michael says there's an echo.
There is an echo.
Is there just an echo with Brandy or with all of us?
Michael?
Yeah. Can somebody answer that, please? I wonder why we have an echo. I'm not understanding.
Well, that's what I was saying. I thought it was me.
Yeah, I have no idea. I don't know. Because I don't have anything else on. So
Both.
let me mute.
Okay. So you're muted, Krista?
I'm back on now. Am I echoing?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, I can't go out and go back in, otherwise I lose all you guys. So I will try to keep my mouth quiet tonight, and I'll let y'all get talking.
I don't think it's going to matter with everybody having an echo.
All right, go for it. Go for it, Brandy.
Well, anyway, what I wanted to do is, because we're in the middle of our spooky season, and actually my October is going to be pretty quiet. I don't have any investigations or anything going on in October, so I get to chill out at home with the family, which is nice. But I wanted to talk about places that we see on TV. Some of them I think are worth all the hype that they give, and then some of them, I don't know, not so much. But I wanted to get into talking with Terry and Holly about our latest investigation that the three of us had done together, and that was the Indiana State Sanitarium, which was quite interesting. It's a fabulous place. It's out in the middle of nowhere, it seems. I didn't know if I was going to find it when I drove up anyway. I was like, is this the right road? I wasn't sure. But when we got out there, of course, there's no electric, there's no nothing. And like Mother Nature does, when you don't take care of something, it kind of takes it back. So that's kind of what's happening with this place, but they are working on it. And we had a very eventful evening, ladies, didn't we?
I thought it was great. I mean, I can't wait to go back. But I didn't see the bats. The bats wasn't in the part I was.
Well, the bats were with me, so and Brandy.
Yeah, I was behind Holly.
So tell us about the bats.
It's a really cool place, and I'd love to go back again to really do a little more time in it.
Of course, we decided we want to do it when it's in cooler weather, though.
Yeah.
When
Yeah,
the
it's
bats
pretty
will have
warm.
settled down a little bit.
Right.
We actually stayed. They have a really nice building that they have built actually on top of an old building that used to be there, that used to be part of the hospital and all of that, but they tore it down. How long was it? Like just a couple years after they built it, they tore it down.
Yeah, I don't think that building stood for like 10 years. I don't know if there was some kind of like construction problem with it or not, but it looked nice. The pictures that you showed us.
It did. But they built this really nice building there, and it has like rooms that you can rent for the evening. But we all decided we were going to go out, and that place has not really been touched. Clothes are still there. The personal belongings are still in the rooms. Curtains are still hanging. I saw pictures on the wall, books on tables. It's like they really didn't touch anything. It just kind of all got left when they left.
Right.
I wonder if they closed it down, like maybe for there was a code or something, and the state came in, because I investigated this one nursing home over in Missouri, and there was vials of blood still laying around, and all the personal belongings and dirty and clean clothes, and it was something to do with a state violation. The state just come in and said, get these people out of here. And I mean, they left everything behind too.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So I'm not sure. Christy, you're going to have to go with it. So this place was massive. How many buildings was it? There was like the nice place we stayed in, and then there was the administrator's house. And then there was that building that had the laundry in it. And then that big building that had the morgue in it.
Right.
And then the hospital part looked like a big cross, and all this was connected together. Once you started walking, you just kept walking forever. And then the hospital cross part went to that 5-story hospital that I pretty well stayed in the whole night. I mean, I didn't even see it all because there was so much going on.
Well, they had the tunnels too.
Yeah, they sure did. Now, just to let everybody know, if you're unfamiliar with what we're talking about, this place was featured on Destination Fear. They were the first ones to get in and investigate this place when they were just poking around and looking for stuff to do, but they were the first ones in there, so that's how this place actually got on the map. But
how far is it from like St. Louis area?
I'm trying to think of how long it took me to get there. It took me probably about 6 or 7 hours to get there from here. So it's probably about 5 hours from you, maybe a little less.
Okay.
It wasn't too bad of a drive, you know.
No, it wasn't for us either. It seemed like you went just straight across Illinois and Indiana, and we were there.
Right. I want to talk about the administrative building for just a minute. We had a really, really good time in that building. We sat down with, what is that app that we were using, Holly?
I think it was the Phasma box.
The Phasma box. That thing, well, I mean, it was just spitting out stuff, and you couldn't deny what it was saying. It was just as clear. And we were all sitting in the middle of the whole administration building. It reminded me of kind of like the lobby area. So we were all sitting in the lobby area, and I kept looking behind me. There was this room back there, and I'm like, man, there's something really weird back there. I kept sensing it, and I had my back to it. And I put some equipment over there to see if anything would go off, and it didn't. But we started taking pictures, and actually, I got something, but you just can't really say. It's like you look at the room and it's not there, but you look at your picture and it's there. So I really can't say it was a spirit or anything, but it definitely had a really weird vibe going to it.
Wow.
I think one of your teammates, Tammy, caught something in there though. She caught something that I couldn't explain.
We got that audible voice too when we first walked in, remember?
Oh yeah. Was that in the superintendent house, wasn't it?
Superintendent house. Yeah, it was.
So Michael is asking real quick, I'm gonna put it up here. He said, did you have contact with a female child in spirit?
Not where I was at. I pretty well stayed in that 5-story hospital all night with a couple of friends that went up with us.
Okay.
I'm trying to remember. I don't think so. But we kept on the Phasma box. We did hear a child come over several different times.
Yeah, we had some children's voices at times on that.
But children, sometimes you don't know if it's a girl or a boy if they're real young, and I just couldn't tell. So it could have been.
Well, my views are, my views on children ghosts. So we'll save that one for another show.
Yeah, that's a whole nother show. We could dedicate a whole show to that.
Yeah. So let's talk about the Conjuring house that you guys went to.
Holly, take it away. I'll let you do this one.
And everybody, out there knows, have seen the movie. Anybody that's probably watching this has seen the movie. So it's kind of a cool place to go. Was it, demonic, or did you guys pick up anything like that? Or what is that, Bathsheba or whatever, that lady that's supposed to be haunting it? Did you guys pick up her or anything?
No, we really didn't pick up anything demonic. I mean, we had some activity going on in there, but nothing really demonic. The house is nothing like you see in the movies. It's completely different. And it's just an old house that is built on a battlefield, kind of, because they had turrets in the basement where they would be able to look and shoot at people coming up. So. And then
Yeah, it was definitely something though to be down the basement and see that stuff.
Yeah, down in the basement they actually had stalls for where they bring their cattle and livestock in when the troops were coming up on the house. So.
Well, hey, Erin.
Hey, sorry, we had to use the phone as a hotspot. So if I get all funky, I'm getting a lot of feedback. Is it still bad?
It's bad. We've had some weather, so I'm not sure if that's it or it's Krista's or something.
Okay, here's the deal. It says the echoes are making it hard to hear, people are saying. So Michael says that maybe one of the guests, if they're using their main internal mic, or sound over their speakers.
Yeah.
Mark, can you walk me through to fix something like this here, Mr. Techman?
Okay, what's going on?
The echoing.
Echo.
Somebody have their phone on as well.
Nobody has their phone on.
Mm-mm.
It's been doing this for a while. I have nothing else up but StreamYard. My phone's not on, nothing.
Okay.
I went into the settings and I don't see anything weird that, I even have explanation on.
See about having guests coming back in.
You know what, guys? What I'm going to do, I'm going to totally, just to let everybody know that's hearing, I'm going to totally get out of this. Everybody come back on it. Give me 2 minutes. And be right back. And if I have to go another StreamYard on real quick, I will. But give me just a minute, and everybody come back in. Give me 2 minutes.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. Is it still doing it?
No.
Nope.
See,
Okay, so it's one of them.
Yeah, it's either I think it is Terry, because it was doing it before Holly got on.
It wasn't doing it before Holly got on?
No,
Okay,
it was doing it when Terry was on before Holly got on.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Can you?
Okay, it's still good.
Doing it?
Nope.
We're good.
We're thinking it's Terry.
We think it's Terry.
Okay, because I'm like, I don't know. I was looking at all my settings and I didn't have it. So
No, it sounds perfect right now. I mean, it's like,
yeah.
I think it's Terry because it was doing it when it was just us with Terry.
Right.
And it wasn't, it was before Holly. So I think it's Terry.
Yeah. So, okay. So when they come back on, then we'll continue talking
Okay.
on this. So we'll go through and just say hi to everybody that's on here. It looks like Shaman Sundays. I know that is Brandon. Hello. Daryl.
Hi,
hey.
Brandon.
Michael Christopher. Hey.
Michael.
Roxanne. And Crystal. Cool. So anyway, they'll come on, and when they come back, we will continue this talk. So
Yeah, because I really think that it's Terry's.
well, yeah, it's never happened to me before, to us on here before. So I'm like, what the heck?
Well, it's happened. It's just been when somebody's got their phone loaded up as well to see comments.
Gotcha. Okay.
If they're watching it plus have it on another
Like
screen,
the YouTube.
Well, I got out of everything because I'm like, what the hell, you know?
so,
Yeah.
What are we doing?
It's the same as radio.
yeah, it's the same as radio. It's feedback. It's, I mean,
Yeah.
so, no echoes now. Now we sound
Okay.
good.
Let me log back into Facebook real quick and I'll tell Holly and Terry to come back in.
Yes.
Okay. One
One
yeah.
at a time.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Let me get up here. Oh, said I missed a Facebook call from Holly.
Oops.
Huh.
I'm doing the hat bit today.
Hey, I
almost
do it.
did.
I do it all the time.
Well, you
So
see,
how's everybody's night going out there in YouTube land, Facebook Live land? Everybody doing
Hey, did y'all see my picture
good?
today?
Nobody else did?
Uh-oh.
which picture?
The one I put out, I went to play musical bingo for a charity last
You
night.
did. You won
Fun.
some Starbucks thing or something.
Yeah, and then I won a $50 gift certificate to a gun range and
Okay, so
Dunkin'
Holly says
Donuts.
she's having difficulties. So here's here's Terry.
Hi, Terry.
Hey, we're back.
We're back.
Okay.
Fine.
No,
All right.
Perfect.
Nope.
Perfect.
okay. Holly says she's having difficulties.
That might be,
She was getting a little pixelated when I was watching her feed there.
Okay, so maybe if anything.
Tell her to try on her phone because I think she was on her iPad.
Okay,
Yeah,
Terry
yeah.
says. Oh, I can't even type.
So, Michael said that he's at work. That sucks.
Oh,
Yuck. Brandon says he's Shaman Sundays.
Okay,
Exhausted.
here she is. There she's
Oh.
back.
Okay.
Okay,
let's
we
see.
good?
yeah. It's Terry.
Okay. So Daryl says he likes the hat. I will get you a new hat.
Oh, he's doing it again.
Yeah.
It is. Well,
She froze up.
No, I don't think so.
As soon as she popped in, it went.
yeah.
So is it doing it when I talk or when Holly comes back in?
When Holly came in, it started.
Okay, Daryl says they're back. Add to stream. Terry and Holly, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
But the echoes are back.
Yeah.
It's not as bad.
It's not as bad. So,
I don't,
Yeah, they are.
I'm not really too sure. I don't know how to fix this.
it's mostly Christmas. It's spreading.
What's
It's like
that?
it's like the flu. It's the echo flu.
COVID.
Yeah.
No, it's the flu. We don't talk about the C word.
Yeah. No, we don't.
Chlamydia, the clap, and COVID.
Yeah.
I shouldn't have said that. I'm sorry. It just came out of my mouth.
Get me all choked up over here. I'll have to remember that chlamydia, the clap, and COVID. We just don't talk
Yeah.
about it.
Okay, so we'll just say it right here. I had a really
Well, let me say something real quick, Erin.
Oh,
Hello.
I gotta finish my story real quick.
Wait,
So I
no. Wait. I got to go off because it said that mine and yours is the worst. Nobody can hear us.
Oh,
That's my cat.
Aaron's is worse.
Yeah. I'm going to leave.
Are y'all hearing that?
Okay.
Yeah, was that your
All right.
cat?
That's my cat. Sorry.
Here, let's try going on this side.
It sounded demonic. I'm really sorry, but it did.
She is a demon.
I was like, what's that?
She caught a sock, so she's trying to bring it to me.
Okay.
Aw.
We know on this side of the table at the museum, it's actually better. So we will go on this side of the table. That's sad. Okay.
This
Heather?
is, I think it's awful.
Yep.
Nobody can
See,
hear
I
us.
can't even hear it.
Hey, why don't we just cut it off completely and then send us a new link and let's get back in?
I tried. I don't think that's gonna work. I just tried. So
No, we didn't get off.
I know, but it went off before. That's what I'm saying. I don't understand. So
Aaron and I were still on when you cut off.
Mhm.
right, and then it quit. When I came back, it quit. All
Try it one more time.
right, I'm gonna go off.
Okay.
It is the 13th, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is she gone?
Yeah, now you're echoing. Well, we're all echoing.
Hello.
Man, now nobody heard my joke. But that's maybe a good thing because it came out of my mouth.
It's still bad.
So what happened?
Nothing changed. It's still echoing really bad.
Yeah. So I don't know. Does everybody like? I think. I'm not sure. It's got to be somebody's phone or something.
What? You Googling something?
All right, Mark, tell us what the problem is.
There's echo.
Hello.
Crystal says the universe is telling us something. She's probably right.
That's what I was saying. Can we just cut the whole broadcast and come back in?
Not really, because I'd have to start everything over again, and it takes me a little bit.
How long's a little bit?
Long enough that I don't want to do it again. Michael says,
Yeah, try earphones instead of speakers. I got it.
and then someone says that somebody's mic off, maybe.
Make sure you're on. All right.
Or someone has their mic on. Does somebody have their mic on?
What is that noise?
Is there a cat?
That's
Sounds like a baby.
that's my cat.
Oh, hi, kitty, kitty.
She caught a sock. So she
That was
cried
impressive.
right now.
Right?
What is that? What
That's
is
for cat.
oh.
Cat.
Go to settings. We need to hook this up. No, not those settings. Your computer settings.
Oh, wait, you didn't echo. Wait, whatever.
What?
What are
Stop.
you doing?
You are
Okay.
doing that.
I'm not doing nothing.
No,
No,
not
not you. It's be a bark. You made my head huge.
Somebody just said no echo now, but now I hear the echo. So what did you do, Mark? You did something.
No, it was me.
Okay, whatever you did, Aaron, you did something to fix it.
You have to remember it for next time.
Right. Because this is freaking annoying.
We've been marked.
Something. The powers that be.
No. All right.
You gotta pick your.
What?
You're connected to your.
Yeah.
Hello?
I'm connected to
Oh,
my
I didn't know you had to do that. Okay. Just get me out of the Is it echoing?
That's still echoing.
It is still echoing. I don't know what to do. Why don't one of us at a time try to go off and come back on, and then let's figure out who it is. It's one of us.
Okay, I'll go out.
Okay, you go out. Okay, talk to me. No echo.
Hello.
No echo.
Do you guys have an echo? Holly,
No.
can you hear it?
Yeah, I don't hear it.
See, I told you I thought it was Terry.
Okay, so we know it's
Okay.
Terry. She's a culprit.
We're gonna blame her.
Yeah, right? Okay, let me tell her to come back.
Yeah, you better tell her to
See if
turn.
it starts.
Mark, would you know how to walk her through to fix this? Oh, here she is. Okay.
Now
Hey.
now let's see. It'll start okay for a minute and then it'll go crazy again.
Yeah, let's go with it right now. Teri, it stopped when you left.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe it's me.
Right now it's good. So let's get on with it. Okay, what were we talking about? Let's go back to it.
The Conjuring House.
The Conjuring House. Yes,
Yeah.
the Conjuring House. And Holly was going to tell this story because
Yes.
Right. And they recently found some buried soldiers on the grounds too, they think. But they can't,
really?
yeah, they can't unearth them because something to do with the historical aspect of it. It'll damage the house if they do that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
yeah, because if they start digging, then they won't stop unless they're absolutely sure there's no more.
Right.
Yeah. Wow, that's
So
crazy.
it's a really cool place. It's a small house, 3 bedrooms. It's not, they told us it's not really the story that you see on the actual Conjuring. There's a whole different story than the Conjuring movies show you. They're hyped up for audiences, but
Well, it's just as twisted though.
yeah, it is. It's very twisted.
So I did read that actually, like, the parents did not contact Ed and Lorraine Warren, that they actually like showed up there.
Yeah, they showed up.
Yeah.
And they performed a seance there with they brought a medium with them, and she performed the seance, and then Andrea's mom was thrown across the room, and the father punched Ed and knocked the tooth out, actually, because he was so mad that all this happened and transpired. So,
wow.
But there's been a lot of deaths in that house.
Yeah.
Over the years. A lot of the Arnolds have died there because they own the house. And they think that the spirit of the Mrs. Arnold, I forgot what her first name was. Brandy, what was her first name?
Oh boy.
You said start with a B, like Bethesda or something?
No.
That was the witch they said that cursed the house, but
okay.
I think it was Susan Arnold. She her husband passed away, and she hung herself in part of the house that actually overlooked the old barn. So I think Roger Perrine, he developed kind of a relationship with this Susan as a ghost, and he would go to the basement and talk to her all the time. And they think that that's what actually got the spirit to attack the mother, because she wanted the family.
Gotcha.
So she would go after the family then.
Yeah, it was kind of like a weird love triangle.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah.
And so Susan, the spirit, was attacking the wife because she wanted her out.
Is that the lady that lost a bunch of children, though, the ghost? Didn't she lose like 5 children herself or something?
Not that I know of.
Yeah. Not that I can remember.
Now, listen, I just watched Ghost Brothers, and it said that on there. Just saying. Watch the new episode.
Well, you can believe everything you hear on television.
Well, it was Andrea Perrine or whatever that talked about that. So,
well, about the children, I'm not sure. That was not told to us in any type of story.
No.
Gotcha. Okay.
But I mean, the thing is that the spirit wanted the wife out of the picture so she could have the family. So the husband decided he would choose his wife instead of the spirit and moved her out of the house.
Right.
Gotcha.
Now, thinking that this was going to end her attacks, it did not.
Okay.
Even though they moved away from the property and everything else, the attacks still happened. Only until the husband and wife got a divorce and it was finalized, then the attack stopped.
Right.
Really?
Yes. And that gentleman still goes back to the Conjuring house and still looks for her.
Yeah, goes to the basement to try to talk to her.
Yep.
Wow. Were you guys able to spend the night there and like sleep
Yeah.
there?
Oh yeah. Well,
Up there.
sort of sleep. Yeah.
Sort of.
Well, how was that?
Brandy and I slept in the middle room, which was supposed to be the most active. And we both woke up about 5 a.m. Something woke me up, something woke her up, and we heard somebody walking around our bed. And I actually caught it on a recorder that I let run all night. And you can hear footsteps go around the side of the bed that I was sleeping on. And I jumped up to run into the other room to see if the other people that were in the other room were up, and they were still sleeping. So it was pretty cool.
So did you guys actually really like go to sleep? Because I'm not so sure I
yeah.
could sleep in that house.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was so active the whole entire night. It just wore you out. I mean, we were running into things, seeing stuff, things were going off. It was just crazy.
I was the only one in the house, and there's a cemetery close by. So part of the group went down to the cemetery, and then Brandy was out front. And I was in the house by myself just doing an EVP session. And when I rewind it to listen to it, you can hear somebody say, "Who are you?"
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's
pretty
cool.
That is cool.
We heard footsteps a lot. We heard a cat like 3 different times. We heard a cat in the house, and there's no cats in the house. So.
Wow.
Or outside. I didn't see one cat at any point. And we were walking around that house at night, so outside.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, they say the whole grounds and stuff is haunted too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, my daughter-in-law, she went, and my son, and they were walking back up to the house, and it's so weird because I just watched an episode of Ghost Adventures where they went to the Conjuring house, and they had a black shadow go across the upstairs window, and that's the exact same thing that my daughter-in-law saw when she was back up to the house. Yeah.
That's
and
crazy.
Nobody was in the house at the time, so it was pretty cool. I would definitely go back and do that one again. It was pretty cool. We had a really cool ghost box session. My youngest son, it was like almost asking him questions back. I've never.
It absolutely did.
It was crazy.
Because we didn't have anything going there for a few minutes, and her son said, "Well, what's your favorite month?" And then you hear January came right through the box.
Wow.
Her son said January. He said, "That's my birthday." And then you hear what date?
Really?
Yeah. Just straight up asking questions back. And then
we don't have that very often on Ghost.
No. And then we were sitting there, and you know how many times that you're investigating and you sit there and you hear over the box, turn around, behind you, I'm behind you, and you look around, you see absolutely nothing, just nothing.
Yeah.
I'm always disappointed, This time you hear turn around. So here I go. I'm like, okay. So I turn to the side and I'm looking. Next thing you know, I had one of those cat balls sitting over on the other side of the room, just started blinking. There was nobody in the room, nobody walking. There was no way to shake it. Nothing. No. And it had to have been moved. And it was just blinking. I was like, are you kidding me? That is the first time ever.
Yeah.
It's like somebody saying, like you go, hello. And then that one day you're hoping somebody go, hello back.
Right.
That was my moment. Was my moment because that never happened. And they have a replica of the Annabelle doll in there. And that just so happens to be where my cat ball was sitting.
Yeah.
Was the cat balls going off or anything?
Yeah, right in front of the Annabelle doll.
Really?
That was the only time that I really saw that cat ball go off.
We had them going in the Mason and I, her son, we had them in the living room by the basement door, and we had the basement door shut. And then every so often you would see them start going off right there by the door.
Yeah.
We had the motion detector that you had, Holly, start going off.
Yeah.
Hey, real quick, what state is the Conjuring house? Daryl's asking if you could just tell him the location where the Conjuring
Rhode Island
is.
Rhode Island.
In Rhode Island, Daryl.
It's actually, I think it's labeled like the farm at the top of the road or something like that.
Okay. Good deal.
So Teri, this is for you. Tell me about this one I didn't get to go on. This one in Ohio.
That Fairfield. Well,
Yes.
yeah, we went to Fairfield, Ohio, and that place is awesome. It's an old poor farm, which probably, I think she said it set on almost 600 acres. And now across the street where the field used to be is a college, but they still have the other piece of ground, and there's a house, and the building that you actually investigate is over 43,000 square feet. And then there's 3 buildings outside you don't have access to, but you can sit on the steps, and they've heard things. One's like I think one was like where they butchered their own animals, and then like one place was like a blacksmith shop. But anyway, behind that was this hill, and she told us that was a cemetery that we could go up there. They buried you. She said that they had at least 1,300 graves up there. And then there was a piece of property to the left of it that the city wanted to buy. And I guess they had to get, I don't know what those little ground searching things are where they can tell whether there's people buried under the ground or not. But they found over 1,500 more on this piece of ground. So there's almost 4,000 bodies buried out back. And instead of laying you down, she said they made a hole and they put you in there feet first. So you were standing up so they had more space.
Oh,
Ew, like a plant?
Yeah, they basically they planted you in there. Yeah, she said everybody was standing up, and when they secured that land, they were picking up on skulls because you're standing up in there, so it
they're
saves
standing
space rather-
up. They just put
Yeah,
them
but
feet
they didn't
first
even
in the
know
ground.
those
Oh
other
my
bodies were
God.
out there until
Wow.
they started researching the. But yeah, that place was really really active. I mean, we saw shadow figures. Cat balls was going off. We had some really cool EVP sessions out there, and it's actually was it 4 stories? It was 3 stories in a basement. And
Wow.
upstairs they had one room that used to be an orphanage, and doesn't see much sun, and there's 1800s wallpaper still on the wall in perfect condition. I mean, it's
Wow.
perfect in spots. And then
Wow.
there was another
That's
area
gotta
when
be
you
just
come up out of
beautiful to see.
Yeah.
Oh, it was. It was like a burgundy and a gold. There was like a gold print on it. And then the
Wow.
other side of it, they tied people up there if they'd done something wrong. And they had like 10 things that you couldn't do, like women couldn't curse, and the men and women were divided. And if you got caught on the wrong side, they would tie you up there to the wall. And it actually had like fingernail prints where people scratched the walls while they were standing there.
Oh my
Dang.
God.
Still in the wall. Yeah.
That's crazy.
It was crazy.
That is crazy.
That
Roxanne wants to know if anybody's been to Waverly Hills, and I know you guys have.
Yes,
Yeah, we've
I
been.
have. Yes.
You
I
guys
have
want to touch on talk about Waverly Hills a bit?
Well, Holly, go ahead. Tell us about your experience.
I would like to definitely go back because we went with, I think, too large of a group. So kind of people were on top of each other. My son did get a really cool picture of a shadow figure, but we really didn't have a lot happen for us. I don't know if it's just there was too many people and
yeah.
It could have been everybody was just kind of
yeah.
running around.
Yeah, you got to kind of stay organized. And we try to do that when we go, any place, kind of keep track of one another. I was at Waverly, but it was probably a good 12, 14 years ago. And we only went with 13 people. And we busted up in groups and we never saw the other people again.
Yeah,
I mean, that
was
place is
massive.
that huge. It's just amazing when you pull up in front of it and get out of your car.
Right.
But I mean, I saw a full apparition of a nurse when I was down there. There was 4 of us in our group, and my brother and I was in the front, and 2 friends was behind us. And I stopped and turned around to see how far back they were. And there was a nurse behind Sharon. And I mean, she had the old uniform like my grandma had with the little wings on the cap, and standing there and in her uniform walking behind her.
Very cool.
Oh.
Wow.
See, I
Did
just
you have any experiences?
Was this in the dark, or was there light? Like, did you see
It was dark, but there was like a full moon. And we were on the
So you
side where
still
all the
had, like-
windows were at. So yeah, you could see all the way down that whole hallway out there.
Did she have any like color to her, or
She looked like a human. She looked exactly
Really?
like a human.
Wow.
But I mean, when she turned around and she realized that I could see her, because I'm like, look at that. And by the time I got the word "that" out of my mouth, she was gone.
Mhm.
Wow. So was that the first time you had seen a full body apparition like that?
No, not my first time, but it'd been a while.
It had been a while. At
It-
least like maybe like that clear. Like because I know
It was
like
that clear. Yeah, it looked like we picked up a nurse somewhere and she was just coming down the hall with us.
wow.
Yep.
That is amazing.
She wasn't
So
see-through or anything. I mean, I could see the
it was
little
solid.
lapel pins on her collar and everything.
Wow. So like after you saw her, like how did the energy like because I'm sure, you know, being an investigator, most investigators can feel the energy in a room. How did it feel in that room after she kind of like just dissipated like that? Did it feel
Well, we
like
were all talking about it. It's just like, who saw that? Like, me and my brother
Right.
was the only one that saw her because we turned around at the same time. But when Sharon and
oh
the other,
wow.
like, yeah,
Okay,
two of
so
us
somebody
saw her
else
coming
saw
down the
her too, so
hallway.
it's two people.
Yeah. So
That's
then,
amazing.
you know, you're all giddy like a little 10-year-old going, did you see that? I can't believe I saw that
Yeah.
kind of thing for the next half an hour.
Right.
So,
Right.
so
Oh,
Mark,
that's probably
Mark,
most
what
of us
was
do. Yeah.
Mark? What was your experience you've had there? How was it for you?
It was pretty amazing. That was actually the first time I've ever seen a shadow figure was at Waverly. And the crazy thing is it was after we were leaving. I mean, we were in the parking lot and I was with a friend of mine and I just happened to look up and I believe it was the 4th floor. It just there was somebody just standing there like staring at us while we were leaving. And I stopped and I was just kind of like looking and he kind of walked off and he said, "Hey, what's going on?" And I couldn't really speak. I was just staring. And then I looked back and there was like this 10, 12-year-old girl staring at the exact same spot. And for some reason, I just turned her and I said, "Hey, do you see something?" And she said, "Yeah, I see something." And she pointed at the same area. And then she was with her dad. And I went to say something to her. And when we turned back, it was gone. It was like,
Wow.
I don't know how to explain it, but for you know a younger kid to see the exact same thing I was staring at, it was pretty crazy because I mean it was a definite shape. I mean it just looked like it was sitting there staring at us the whole time, like
Right.
watching us leave. Other than that, I mean. I had I can't remember what room it is. I'm sure Terry or Holly remember where the nurse supposedly I can't remember if she
I was at 501.
yes, it was like up on the top floor.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now as somebody that 100% believes in this stuff, I still go into it skeptical. And when they were telling the story, you know, a lot of people get, you know, headaches or stomach issues before they go in this room or when they go in the room. I'm thinking, okay, yeah. And I remember walking into that room and within seconds my stomach was in and I don't know if we have issues here. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I can hear you.
We kind of froze there. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're froze, but we can hear you.
Maybe he
Now we
can't
can.
hear us.
Now we can.
Okay, so let's go on. I did want to ask this question now. Terry and Holly and I have been to Old South Pittsburgh Hospital in Tennessee. The place never disappoints for me. Sometimes it's a little more quiet than others, but I always catch something there.
Mhm.
But Holly and Terry got to investigate a location that's very close to there, and they were the first ones in to investigate ever in this location.
I
Why don't
didn't
you
go
tell
to
us
that
about that?
one. Holly
you-
took the team down there. Yeah, I didn't get to go.
Oh, well, we gotta go.
Well, I know we got to go back.
Yeah, we definitely got to go back to that one.
Where's this at?
It's Harriman Hospital in Harriman, Tennessee.
Okay.
We were the first team that got to go in and investigate it, besides a team that was there for TV, and that'll be coming out later on this fall.
Yeah.
But yeah, we were the first team to get to investigate Harriman Hospital.
Very
We had
cool.
a lot of activity. It was really good. I definitely want to go back there. The hospital is huge. They don't have the back part open yet because the roof is kind of caved in on the back part of it. But once they get that back part open, that hospital is going to be ginormous. It's got 4 floors on it, and one hallway is a good probably block and a half where you walk down.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, let us know if you decide to go back there again, and I'd be
definitely.
interested in going back and going with you guys.
I'm waiting for him to update the elevator. He's supposed to fix the elevator.
He said he's trying to sprinkler the place too, so we can sleep there, and trying to get an elevator going.
So 2 people have asked, Daryl and Crystal have asked about Brushy Mountain.
Yes, we just went there not too long ago.
Oh, I love that place. I love that place.
See, this is the first time I'm hearing of it. Oh my gosh, this is again.
Well, it has a very assorted history to it. It was actually a coal mine to begin with, and they had all these miners down in there, and they weren't paying them very much or little to nothing. So they decided that they were going to bring in different people, scabs. Okay, let's just say what it is. They'd bring in scabs to do the work. Well, this started a riot. Well, which ended in kind of like a little massacre that went on in this area. Then they decided after a while, after they closed that down, that they were going to build a prison on top of that. And they built a prison right on top of the coal mine, and then they would use the prisoners to actually mine the coal. Now, the prisoners that were chosen to mine the coal, of course, are our African-American citizens here that were put in prison for, say, looking at a white woman across the street. They were put in prison and automatically put to work. So that's how the history kind of began around Brushy Mountain. So it's sitting out there, and it looks like it's sitting in a quarry kind of thing. It's like you've got your walls to the prison, but then it looks like you're encased in the mountain itself. It's beautiful. Let me just tell you, we saw the stars. We went outside and we saw the stars. They were so close and so clear and so beautiful. I'm like, this cannot be a place where a prison should be. It's just unbelievable. It was just amazing. But we had some interesting things.
Yeah, we did.
Holly, go ahead and tell us one of your experiences there.
We were up in the auditorium, is what they call it, and we were heading our way to the auditorium, which is supposed to be a very active spot, and it was. As we're walking, I could hear footsteps behind us coming at us. So we flipped around real quick, and we saw a door like close right in front of us, slam up against the wall. It was pretty cool. Brandy had a great experience with a cigarette. So.
Oh yeah, so they tell me to go into C block and go up to it was the 3rd floor, I think it was, the 3rd floor, and go down a couple cells and light a cigarette. So I said, okay. So I went down there and I lit a cigarette while I was with Jolene, which is another one of After Dark Paranormal teammates there. And she's sitting right across from me. Now, these cells aren't very big. So if I'm sitting on what was the cot and she's sitting on the chair that they had in there, which is bolted to the wall, we're almost sitting knee to knee. That's how close the walls are. So she's sitting across from me, and I lit a cigarette, and we're just talking about it. And she says, if you want this cigarette, you better come get it. Next thing you know, you could hear somebody actually shuffling, like they're trying to get out of the cell, because you can hear the actual the footsteps, and then how they're dragging their feet just to shimmy out of the cell and come down the walkway. And she got so nervous, she got up, she jumped next to me, and I'm like, do not put me next to the door. I don't want to see what's coming down there just yet. So, but yeah, we had that. So we set the cigarette down and left it there. And you know, today's cigarette is fire safe, and they have those little fire safe rings in them now that when they stay lit for so long, they go out.
Yep.
This one never went out.
Wow.
and you could see it, like you'd see it just slowly light up and then let it go. You could see the filter turning yellow as if somebody was taking a drag off the cigarette.
Wow, that's really cool.
And it's like I couldn't believe that. It got me a little bit. I was a little scared. I said, Jolene, you ready to go? We need to go get some help up here.
I just
So,
think it was a
We have a
more.
question. Nancy Malcolm wants to know, have any of you seen fae folk or other cryptids while ghost hunting? When doing EVPs, do you invite fae folk to talk?
We invite anybody to talk.
Have you guys seen any type cryptids or anything while you've been out ghosting? Any of you?
I have not had an encounter. No.
I don't believe I've had an encounter per se, but this is more probably on the psychic realm of things. Where actually being here right now, I'm at the Root County Museum, and everybody knows that place is
That's kind of our home base.
it's our home place. Probably why our internet and everything else is going to poot. Because usually we go to another location, but today we went to the museum.
I even know what room you're sitting in.
Yes, I know. Back, but let go, Brandy. Let go, Brandy. Aaron echoes. Oh, I echo. Too bad. Darren
Hello.
Let it go, Brandy. Aaron echoes.
Let it go. Let it go. Don't make me start singing.
Yeah, don't start singing Frozen, please.
So, being
I got my
here
Elsa braids on.
at the museum,
You do.
I did see a apparition that changed itself to more of a frog form, I guess you could say. Now, I'm not sure if it was doing that because of the mental illness that's a lot prevalent here, or if it was something of some other nature. But I mean, I've seen that here. As for anything else on the cryptid realm of things, I don't necessarily invoke when we're ghost hunting. I'm kind of tapping into both realms of things. I'm doing my psychic tapping in, but then I'm also using equipment because I'm really fascinated by equipment, especially when the two collide together. You know, one can work with the other.
Right.
So for me, I haven't necessarily said, hey, are there any, dogmen or Bigfoot or fairy or anything like that. But I've always allowed whatever needs to communicate with me through myself to communicate. So
Right. Very cool.
What about you, Krista, though, at that horse farm that we did?
So Teri, were you sitting out there that night of the Bigfoot hunt?
No.
You missed it. So DA actually talked a little bit about it on his show. So funny thing, Mike Brown posted some pictures on Facebook of the weekend. Jessica Potter seen the pictures, and she sent it back to Mike and said she sees something in these woods and kind of circled the area.
Don't do it.
So I sent it to DA. And just last night on his show, he brought it up and he took the contrast out of it. And you can clearly see three beams.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So there was
I'll have
some
to go back and check that
critter
out.
there, but we were also looking for the critter.
Right.
You
I was
know.
talking about that horse farm that we went to that lady had. Didn't Mike see like some fae folk in the trees? And
Yep. The elemental.
yeah.
Yeah. So I guess, I don't know if you could call it a cryptid or not, but the first time I ever went there, I seen it looked like a gargoyle to me that was in the barn, in the main barn, the pretty fancy barn.
Yeah.
And it looked like some sort of I don't know, I described it as a gargoyle. I believe Mike and Jay had seen outside in a tree, they had seen something sitting in a tree too that wasn't ghost. This is
Right.
more fairy realm. So I guess that would be it for me.
And I think sometimes maybe we don't see the Fae folk because we're not looking for them.
Right. That's true. Maybe we should open up and be more open to looking for them. You know? Yeah. Who knows? Who knows?
Open mind, open mind.
That's right. That's right. Let's talk about Ashmore Estates.
I
And
love
I know,
Ashmore.
Terry, that's kind of your home
That's
base.
kind of my home base.
Yeah.
Ashmore Estates is in Ashmore, Illinois, built in the building that there's now is built in 1916. It was an old poor farm, and then it was turned into a psychiatric hospital in the 50s, and it ran as a nursing home until the 80s. A tornado had went through in 2013, took the roof off, and it was in pretty sad shape. And I don't know how many of you know. I mean, I know all we do, but as far as listeners, Robin and Norma Terry bought the building and put in thousands and thousands of dollars. And if you've not been there, you need to go. We're kind of spoiled. It has running water, toilets, a shower. He built bunkhouses out back so you don't have to get a hotel. The place is just amazing. I mean, I can't even tell you. I met Robin at the R Theater. He lives in a haunted theater in Auburn, Illinois.
Mm-hmm.
So I met Robin back probably in 2012, 13 maybe, and then just started going to Ashmore, and now I'm a part-time caregiver, and Holly goes up there a lot with me. And there's two other girls. Ashley's actually, they're building a house up there, and Ashley's going to be the full-time caretaker and be on the grounds.
Wow.
The place is just amazing. I mean, anything in the paranormal, you name it, I've seen it, heard it up there.
Yeah. I gotta say, I had an experience there, and it was up on the top floor when you first come up the steps on the side by where the main steps are.
Mm-hmm.
That first room up there. I was upstairs with Wade, Jeremy, Tony, and Danny. We were just kind of, looking around, and I went in that room by myself, and I had plaster thrown at me.
Yep.
And they heard it. And they
Yep.
came in there, and there was, I could tell somebody or something was in there with me. But yeah, it literally, it threw it at me. So that's my most memorable experience at Ashmore Estates.
Well, and you hear people talk about, is it overdone? I mean, this place is booked every weekend, and there is a few days during, but I mean, I have never went up there that I've never heard or seen something. I mean, we were out there. It's one of those places, like when I first went up there, oh gosh, that would have had to been, Robin bought it in 2014, 13 or 14. I think it was 14, put a roof back on it, all the windows back in it. And I went up there that year. And I mean, it's one of those places that when I set all winter and don't get to go, I'm like, hey, Robin, when you having a cleanup day or something like that? Because like now I haven't been up there in the month of October, and I will be up there in a couple of weeks, but it's just like, you just want to go back. Yeah. And we hadn't been up there for probably a month, and Holly and I and Robin was just sitting there by those bathrooms in the tea room catching up. Yeah. And we heard, we're just down there BSing, and it sounded like somebody took a big heavy metal door and pulled it across the concrete floor. And we just all looked at one another, and I just went, welcome to Ashmore Estates. And we just kept on talking.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a cool building. It really is. I've been up there several times myself, and every time I go, I thoroughly enjoy it. And the bunk rooms are really nice, actually.
Yeah.
Because the first time when I first started going up there, we had to get hotels.
Right.
We didn't have them yet. So, and they're nice. It's well worth it. I do highly recommend anybody out there looking to book something next year for their team or something. Ashmore is a good place to go. And who knows, you might get Terry for your tour guide. You can probably request her.
You can request me if you want to. Yeah, I'll come up if I don't have nothing going on.
Yep, for sure. For sure.
Isn't that nice? You can request your own guide.
No, right?
Well, all the girls are great.
So
There's
go.
Ashley
We'll
and Abby's up there too.
know,
And Ashley has been in there a gazillion times, and they're all great to do. But it's been an opportunity. Like we switched tour guides last year. The old one left, and I was up there quite a bit, like every weekend there for a while. And the teams that you meet, my God, I mean, you meet so many teams, and everybody's got a new idea, and they're like, hey, why don't you come with us, kind of thing. So you get to hang out, and I mean, I don't want to mention names because I'll forget somebody, but yeah,
Right.
I've met a lot of cool people just being a tour guide up there and hanging out.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. That's, for me, that's what it's all about. Like, you were talking about meeting other teams and, we met other teams this past weekend and stuff. It's all about, we're all into it for the same reason. We all want
Right.
to learn. Nobody knows the answers. Nobody's
Right.
expert, and to me, we can feed off of each other. We can learn from each other. It's all about the para unity and coming together, instead of the bickering and the fighting, as you all know, goes on.
Yeah. Well, and it's nice for all of us to just learn something.
Yeah.
We can all learn from one another because we all have different experiences.
Yeah.
You know?
Exactly. Exactly.
So
So what
yeah.
what place you guys want to talk about next? Aaron, let me think where you've been that we've all been. You've been to Pythian? I know you've been to Pythian.
Yeah.
You guys have all been to Pythian, right?
I haven't.
No. Okay. Well, we'll nix Pythian. How about Tri-County? You've been to Tri-County,
I've been to
Aaron.
Tri-County.
Let's talk about Tri-County.
Tri-County was pretty awesome. I know, like when we went, Mark and I were investing together. We got teamed up, and we saw, there's lots of accounts of orbs down below, downstairs, and Mark and I both saw the orbs.
And Krista's now son-in-law. Nate,
Yep.
Yeah.
him and his brother
Yeah.
saw the exact same thing.
There were
We were
several
all
of
seeing it
us
at the same time.
at the same time, and they were bright colored. It was the second time I had ever seen an orb like that, but where they were moving across the floor, they were moving, and we went through, and because even though I'm a psychic, even though I'm an investigator, I love to debunk, because to me, when I can debunk it, then it cancels that out. If I can't debunk it, that means there's something there, and that I can go further. So when we couldn't debunk it, we looked at all of if there was any light source.
There was no.
There was
light source
nothing.
whatsoever.
Oh, it's dark down there. Yeah.
It is dark down there.
Back
Yeah.
in, I guess it was probably 2012. I had first started with PTF, and my first event was at Tri-County, and that night is when I had seen my first orb with my eyes, and it was like a big blue ball is what it was, and it went underneath. Terry Gamble always set the cameras up down there on the tripod, and it went under his tripod. But my whole group seen it. It wasn't just me. So that was that's the one and only time I've ever seen an orb with my eyes.
Right.
Yeah.
The first time I actually saw one was when we went to Randolph County Museum.
Yeah.
That was the first time I'd seen an orb with my actual eyes. Yeah. And it took me a minute because I was like, what the hell is that? Like, I think anybody who's seen an orb with their eyes, stares at from it. Because you're like, what is that?
Yeah.
And I remember I was with a friend of ours, Tony. Well, I think I can mention his name for this. It was Tony Pickman. We had heard, him and I had heard, and Terry Campbell was it? Gamble. He was there. He had, we all three had heard a disembodied voice coming from that room. And me, Tony, and another attendee, we were using what was it? The Ovulus? Yeah, it was the Ovulus. And it was saying psychic and wood and necklace, which was quite odd because, well, me being me, I used to wear, for protection, I had this wood necklace, and I was rubbing it while we were in there. And then I just see this, it looked like a laser pointer. And I remember it was this blue, it was just so iridescent colored. And it was blue and purple and all sorts of things. And it just started whipping around. And me and the other attendee and Tony Pickman were looking at it, and I remember just staring at it going, what the hell is that? And kind of instantly turning around to think like, oh, there has to be a window here.
Right.
Or somebody's got a flashlight or something like that. And there was no windows. The doors were closed. Like it was one of those rooms that literally had one door, which was closed, and no windows. And
so, Erin, what floor were you on when you seen that?
that was the basement. That was the basement.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And as soon as I kind of realized what was going on, it was gone.
Yeah.
And you know, that's the thing that sucks. You know, people will say with ghost hunting, well, why didn't you take a picture? And, you know, or why didn't you open up your camera? Or why didn't you do this? I think people need to realize that we are human. And when you see something weird as hell, it takes you a few minutes, you know, to kind of sit there and stare at it and try to process what you're seeing. Because when you're seeing it, you're trying to figure out exactly what it is. You know, our first instinct is not, I mean, we may be good, but we're not that good. You know, that we're like, oh, camera. No, our brains are thinking, you know, and so we're trying to process what the heck is that, because we don't want to jump immediately to, oh, it's an orb, oh, it's a shadow, or it's this. No, we're trying to figure out what it is. And by the time we figure out what it is, that little sucker's already gone. And then I don't have my camera shot. And then I'm not a millionaire and famous for getting the world's first photo of
something.
Well, and how many times do you see it and you're watching it? And I've even taken a picture, even with full spectrum, and it's not there. And it's like, you know, darn well you saw it, and you take the picture and it's not there. And you're like,
right.
Damned if you do, damned if you don't.
Oh, my favorite is when I'm wearing my body cam, and my body cam, I have it sitting right here. And my favorite is I look this way, but I don't turn my body that way. I miss it all. You know, I get to see it, but nobody else does. Lost it. I'm like, oh, great. Dang it.
Yeah, that sounds like the time I threw a friend of mine, Shauna, I threw her into a shadow figure one time. And the camera's like turned a different way right at that time. I happened to have seen, I was at the Hall of Waters in Excelsior Springs, and I was staring at something in the corner way towards the back, and it was a full shadow figure. Like, you know, I think we've all seen shadow figures, and then we've seen the ones that when they're really thick, very, very thick, and you can see the exact outline, kind of like what Mark was explaining at Waverly. And I saw this, and I remember just staring at it and kind of trying to figure out what is that? Because I mean, even though I'm psychic, like I still see things with my eyeballs, you know, like not everything is psychic, you know, I still see things with my eyes. So when I see things with my eyes, I know it's different. And so I'm staring at it going, what is that? And it rushed me. And by the time I got to about here, my teammate at the time, poor Shauna, happened to be standing next to me, and I threw her into it. I grabbed her and I said,
somebody's got to get it. Right?
So I sacrificed her. And, you know, I mean, it sucks,
Well,
but, you know, do that.
You know, that just reminds me of a story, and is something that I laughed about. I was at Old Pittsburgh South Hospital, and Jolene and I had watched this door kind of make this little movement, just soft and subtle, but it was moving. So we're feeling around, trying to feel for a draft, don't feel nothing. So we back up against the wall, and we're sitting there waiting, you know, and it bangs a little bit, and I'm like, okay. And I'm watching, waiting for something to happen. I forgot that there is a surgical ward on this side and this side of me, and I'm right in the middle, and I wasn't paying attention to what was going on. There was a loud bang right behind me, and about threw me into the other door. I was like, oh my God, now this is not happening, because it was coming at me in all different directions. I wouldn't have known where to take a picture.
Right?
I would have said, I don't know.
Where did it even start at that point? Yeah.
It's because you're so caught up in your emotions and your adrenaline rush at the time of seeing something so cool like that you're not thinking, oh, I need to take a picture.
Right.
No.
Right.
No,
Right.
I'm trying to soak it all in and try to understand what I'm going through right then.
Right. For
And I
us,
think
it
a
was,
lot of
we were
us
at
can like relate to that, and
Mhm.
that we are so caught up in the moment. And I mean, people have to understand who maybe don't do investigating, and that's why I say you gotta go investigate. You gotta try it.
Yeah.
Whether it's with a group, whether I'd suggest not going on your own. I suggest going with a group, going and buying a ticket to one, things like that. But to be able to see it with your own eyes, you get it. You get why maybe you don't always have evidence, because you're in such awe
Yeah.
that you finally seen it. Like, I mean, seeing that nurse apparition. I'm sorry.
Yep.
I see dead people and I still would be like, what the hell is that? Like, I still would, And the fact that I was going to say this earlier, the fact that at the same location, Waverly Hills, that now there's two people, because Mark had said that. Sorry, I didn't mean to poke you in the eye. Mark had said that with when he saw that shadow figure, another person had seen it.
Right.
That to me says there has got to be some major activity there. If two people that I'm talking to at this moment who have seen a figure, an apparition at the Waverly Hill, at least two people saw at each time. That's significant.
Yeah.
That is
Well, and I know people that's been there and didn't have any activity, but I'm the kind of investigator that I like hearing a little history and maybe throw some names out there. And
Right.
I want to walk the place and get the feel of it, but then go sit down. I have been on ghost hunts where people are constantly moving. Oh, well, there ain't nothing happening in that
Talking.
room. Well, you spent 3 minutes in there, It's like, and I tell the people that come out of Ashmore, walk the building, find your spot, and pull a chair. Let them come to you.
Yes.
And why are you walking through there?
Yes.
Oh, there ain't nothing happening, so I'm moving along. Well, you've been in there for 3 minutes. They're not gonna. They don't come to perform just because we pay our ticket money and show up. So
Yeah.
I like to just sit and.
That is 100% correct. I am so glad you said that, because that is exactly what people need to do. You need to be patient.
And it's not what the TVs make it out to be,
Right.
The TV shows make it out like it's active all the time. And all of us sitting up here on this panel, we all know it's not that way.
So I have a question for everybody. If you could give one piece of advice to new investigators or people new to this field, what would it be?
Holly, go ahead.
Basically what you said, Krista, is don't expect this to be a TV show. It's like fishing. Some nights you catch a bunch and some nights you don't catch anything. So
Exactly.
be patient.
And just because you don't catch anything in that spot does not mean there's no fish in there.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
It just means that you weren't lucky tonight.
Right.
But you may go back there in 2 weeks and man, is it hopping.
Yeah.
Exactly.
What about you, Teri?
I don't run out and buy all the equipment. I mean, if
Yes.
it blinks and make noise, I am one that will buy that damn thing. But
Yes.
but I pack it along as I move. But I mean, you're sitting there staring. Let's be honest, we don't know if that $400 piece of equipment, when it blinks or a little bell goes off, that there's really a ghost standing there. I kind of want to believe that it is, because I've had too many coincidences or stuff that's happened at the same time. You might hear a foot shuffle and a REM pod go off, or, hear some clothes moving or something, throw something at you. That's fine and dandy, but I have been on investigations where people are so obsessed with staring at a cat ball for 20 minutes to wait for it to go off that you miss the shadow figure go down the hallway.
Right.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
So, that's more of finding a chair and parking yourself and, use your equipment for 5 or 10 minutes. Or I've been even on ghost boxes, love them and hate them at the same time, because I have been on investigations where somebody ran a ghost box for 2 hours solid and they believe every word coming out there. I mean, love ghost boxes. Take your ghost box, find your spot, play it for 10, 15 minutes, go back through your recordings, see if anybody answered you, and then go try something else, or just
Right.
People forget, I think, sometimes to go back to the simple. Like we're going to McIntyre this weekend. I am probably going to take a recorder and a flashlight.
Yeah,
Right.
I will tell you what, McIntyre is awesome.
I haven't been. I've been wanting
We
to go
went
for
in
like
May.
8
Me and
years,
Aaron in
and
March.
this weekend is the weekend.
Yes, you guys have fun. You will have a blast there. I'm telling you. And Stephanie is wonderful.
Yes, she is. She is.
I've
awesome.
met Stephanie at Melbourne. So yeah.
That's another one we need to talk about is Malvern. So we'll
Malvern,
finish
yes.
talking on McIntyre and then we'll go to Malvern.
So McIntyre, check out Stephanie's video that she has on her site with the skeleton up in the attic.
Okay.
Just check it out.
I just
That
saw one
head
she posted
moved.
the other day. She stayed all night and she's coming across the room to sit on a brown velvety looking chair and the door
Yes.
opens up.
And the door opens up.
Yeah.
This, I'm telling you, if you don't get if you can't find it, ask her to show it to you.
Okay.
It is creepy as heck because she's got stuff all over the place, and she has a lot of skeletons and fun stuff to be able to put out as props.
Right.
This was seriously something where a skeleton head turned its head, the hat knocks off, and the eyeballs that they put in the skeleton head to make it look more creepy, one of the eyeballs shoots out. Now, I just sat there and it kept saying, keep going. I sat there and stared at it and went, that is the most messed up thing I have seen in so long. So ask her to show you that.
Okay, I will.
Yeah.
And that place is a beautiful place.
Yeah. I was just going to say that.
I've
She
been
has
by
not-
it because I done the
Yeah.
Sally House in Atchison, Kansas a few
Yeah.
years back, and we had to
Yeah.
drive by it just to see it.
I'll tell you what, she has the building is absolutely beautiful. And
She has put
it's
her
clean.
heart and soul into that place.
Yes.
So
You don't have to worry about the bathrooms being nasty. I mean, she's right on top of it. She is.
I would
on
live
it.
there.
I would live there. Honestly, it is so beautiful. And from me to her, give her a big hug from me. I gave her a reading there, and I still haven't gotten to connect with her since then. And that woman is a beautiful soul. She is a wonderful woman, and she puts that. She doesn't just put the home into her heart. She puts the spirits that are living there into her heart.
Yeah.
And it reminds me a lot of kind of like with the Great County Museum. So many people are there for so much good that it just really brings you home.
Yeah.
So it's
For
a
sure.
great place. Wonderful place.
So touch base with us next week and let us know how
Yes.
it goes.
All right.
For you guys.
Absolutely. So, Krista, what's your piece of advice that you would say?
My piece of advice, have a lot of money. It's not cheap.
Put it in a savings account, 401k.
Right. The thing is, I know like Terry's group and our group and stuff, we don't charge to do private cases or, anything like that. So a lot of this comes out of our own pocket. We have to eat, we need hotels. So all this stuff comes out of our pockets. And, so, and I definitely recommend going with seasoned investigators. Find a team or somebody that'll let you tag along or attend an event, and make connections there, that type of thing, for sure.
Yeah.
Yep.
Brandy, what about you?
Mine is never, ever, ever walk into anywhere without your recorder running. Ever.
Yep. Because you never know.
I can't tell you how many times, even recently with Holly, matter of fact, in Indiana, walked right into a house. Not even 3 minutes. I'm just getting my stuff out of my bag, getting ready to turn it on, and I start hearing voices. And I said, I don't have my recorder on. There you go.
Right.
So never,
I'll tell you
ever, ever.
a quick one. We done a jail over in Palmyra, Missouri, and when you walk in, it was like where they booked you and took your fingerprints, and then when you went to the right, you had to walk through the cell doors, and it went into this jail. It looks like a house, but back in the day, they lived there too. So I'm walking in there to set a recorder down inside this jail, and there was a table right inside the door. I wasn't even in there 20 seconds. I walked in there, had my recorder running, and I said, okay, I'm going to put this little black box down to see if anybody's here. And a man had to be like right in my ear because he said, I'm already here. It was that clear. It was that clear. I swear I was in that jail cell 20 seconds.
That's what I mean.
I'm like,
That's
I'm going home. Pack it up, boys. I'm going home.
That's it. That's what I mean. It's like you walk in and it's like, welcome. How you doing? And you're like, wait, I wasn't ready.
Let's talk about Malvern. We've all been there, correct?
No.
Brandy, you're the oddball?
Yes. I had to miss out, remember?
Oh, yeah.
Mom was in the hospital.
That's right.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, so
Malvern
we
was
just went to
awesome.
Malvern over the summer.
Oh, did
And
you?
what I thought was the most coolest thing about that building, when Josh Hurd gave us the tour, he said that it was sitting as he bought it. So like the people who had the rooms, their stuff is still there.
Yep.
Did he tell you guys, Teri and Holly, not to lean on the walls upstairs? Did he show you the blood?
Yep. Yep.
And
We actually saw it and then asked about it because I'm like, I almost sure that's blood on the wall.
Yeah, so we're like, I'm trying to walk and not touch the walls. It's like,
did he say who it was from or what? I mean, was it like somebody?
I don't think he knew.
He knows.
No, he didn't know. From what Mark had told me from talking to him, it just was there, and it could have been from. I mean, there was some people there with IV drug use and homeless and things like that. So squatters.
Right.
Yeah, they weren't sure.
Yeah, I thought that place was really cool. And we did the, that hallway where the black shadow comes out and charges people. Did you guys hear about that one? That guy?
Yeah.
I actually didn't because I didn't go on the tour.
That's right.
You
did not do the tour. But
I did not do the tour because I wanted to go in clear scene.
Right.
So
I do the same thing.
Yeah.
Usually I'm usually they're hanging out in the back or I'm just not paying attention anyway. So
I was the person freaking everybody out because I had my earbuds in with the noise canceling and I was singing. I was singing the Beatles. I was listening to the Beatles and I was trying to like kind of like get myself in the zone, and also like I really did not want to hear anything. And they kept thinking, they're like, oh my God, it's already starting. Somebody's singing.
Well, I've got McIntyre and Malvern on my schedule for this next year too.
Yeah, I do too.
So we're going together.
We are
awesome because we got some really good stuff. I have to say, like, picking up things psychically, there are a few spirits there that are very interested in speaking to mediums and psychics. There are.
Oh wow.
So Teri and Holly, where was your favorite place at Malvern? What part of the building did you guys like?
We had some experiences down that hallway where the shadow figure is.
That was the creepiest part for me.
Yeah.
Was that hallway.
And that attic, didn't you guys?
Yeah.
And the steps walking up to the attic, I thought I was going to die.
Oh my gosh, it was like walking up to hell.
Yeah.
It was so hot.
Megan and I were up in the attic and my stomach started growling and Megan started laughing and she said, I thought somebody was dragging a chair on the ground. We got an EVP and you can hear a male voice said, that's funny.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's even funnier. That's awesome.
Yeah, I like Malvern. That was a good time too.
That makes it so fun. Like when I have to say, like when you're kind of joking around, because you have to have a light sense of humor when you're doing ghost hunting. I'm sorry. Because you're sitting there with people, you can't be serious all the time. You got to laugh and stuff, because honestly, when you're laughing, you're putting energy into the room.
Right.
And so when you're putting energy into the room, you're amplifying, you're giving that spirit more to be able to communicate with. So I love it when like you'll be joking around and you'll get an EVP where a ghost will like joke with.
Mhm.
That is like the best. Kind of like what you
we have
just
got some of our best evidence just sitting around, kind of
Sitting around
taking a
bullshit.
break,
Not trying to interact.
BSing and making
Yeah.
jokes.
exactly.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
For
Not
sure.
interacting, just talking.
Yep.
Yep,
Yeah.
for sure. So Terry and Holly, well, I guess this would be for everybody, but we'll let Terry and Holly go first since they're our guests. Is there any places you guys have investigated and you're like, because of on the scary side of it, like there's no way I'll go back there type thing? For
No,
either-
there's none that I have. I never would go back. I mean, that's what we do this for. I mean,
Right.
I love the history as much as I do the ghost hunting, but
Right.
that's why people like, you're always at Ashmore. Yeah, but it's just one of those places that,
Right.
Right.
I mean, and I've seen some scary stuff up there, but I mean, it makes you want to go back.
Right.
I mean, I just think the
Yeah.
simple fact that we can communicate with somebody on the other side,
Mhm.
Right.
Well,
Also,
now the last time I was at Ashmore with Terry, now this is weird, is I was up there by myself on the second floor, and everybody else is off doing their thing, and I'm just sitting there. So I had all the equipment, I had everybody's equipment right in front of me. I'm like, you know what? It's time to play. So I took all the stuff and I'm putting it out. And next thing you know, everything started going off and doing its little bells and whistles and lights. And so I went over there to go pick up a piece of equipment across the room, and the chair moved on me. I didn't even get to pick it up. The chair moved. So I walked downstairs and I'm telling Terry about this. She's sitting outside the picnic table. And I'm telling Terry about this. And I'm like, listen. And I'm listening. And next thing you know, she goes, did you hear that right there? I said, what? She said, rewind it. And sure enough, as I'm talking, you can hear a male voice talking right with me, right through it. And
I remember that.
I'm like, that's crazy, because there was nobody standing there with me.
Well,
Yeah.
and Erin, you might know, don't you think, like, do you ever, like, when you're investigating, since you're psychic, I mean, do they enjoy, I mean, some of them have to enjoy that we are taking time out of our day, or do they sit there and go, look at them dumbasses, it's Saturday night, it's dark, and they're sitting there in the dark talking to us like y'all ain't got nothing better to do?
I think it's like, honestly, I think it's a combination, because like I can feel the agitated feel of just like, you gotta be kidding me again. Like, I already told you. Or like when we go on investigations, and I know you can relate, with teams where the people ask the same question over and over and over again, and they haven't played back their EVPs or
Right.
anything like that. And I personally can feel that. I told you. Now I'm done. But I also think that they get excited because I can feel that too. They get excited, and I feel like exactly what you said. When people are just sitting around BSing, I can feel the energy just start to like billow up. It's kind of like a simmering pot for me, is what it feels like, because they feel engaged. I mean, these spirits want to just feel alive again.
Right.
So, or they want to get their story across, or they want to just engage. So I mean, how I try to see it too is, this was somebody's mother, father, grandfather, brother, sister, all those things.
Right.
Which conversation do you think they're going to take the time and the energy that takes a lot from them to interact with? The one
Right.
that's interesting, where it's just BSing, or the one where they're asking them, how old are you?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, not that we shouldn't ask that. I asked that too.
I would
But,
say I asked it.
I know. I mean, I asked that too. But like, it's like asking it 5 times. How old are you? How old are you? Are you a male? Like, they may, after a while, some of them get a little agitated and they get bored. I'm just explaining what I feel when I feel spirit. Some of them, they just get agitated. They don't want to talk about that.
Well, it was kind of like we were at the museum, and I was like, I don't want to ask them their name, blah, blah, blah. I'm thinking, you know what? I'm going to get a little information, but I'm going to go around the backside to see if I can get it. So we're talking about favorite foods, where's your house,
Right.
But the one I got was, who was your best friend? And then a few seconds later, you heard George.
Right. And that's the thing is when you come to places that have been investigated, I think that would be my piece of advice for people. When you go to places that have been investigated a lot, ask questions that aren't the normal. You know,
What's your favorite ice cream?
Yeah.
I have asked, well, not me personally, but I've heard somebody ask, do you like bacon? And REM pods and stuff started going off. I mean,
Yeah, mine's peanut butter and jelly. Peanut butter and jelly.
Right. Like just ask them very random questions because that might pique their interest and bring them closer to you.
Right.
Well, you know what? Let me say something too. The night we were at the museum with the Tennessee Wraith Chasers, and I know Mark and Aaron were there for this. The Wraith Chasers were upstairs in the Indian Artifacts room, and they were doing an EVP session. Well, there was a guy there who was deaf, and so Goldie, who stays at the museum, you know, she is deaf, and they were doing an EVP session with sign language, and they were getting activity, which I thought was really cool because I've never seen that done before.
Me neither. That would be cool.
Really, like, kind of blew me away.
Yeah,
Thought,
and
man,
that
this is really cool.
That absolutely blew me away too, because I mean, most people don't know that I do know sign language. I took that in college. It surprised me when I saw somebody was signing while they're investigating. That is the first I've ever come in contact with that. And I felt really terrible because I happened to just come into the room and he didn't see me. And then, you know, I scared the
Well, you know,
hell out of him.
Aaron Smith sent me the video of it, and I watched it, and I'm like, holy cow.
yeah, that's
was-
pretty
But
amazing.
I never had thought of that with the fact that I do know sign language and being
Right.
here at the museum, Goldie being deaf
Deaf.
and blind. I personally don't feel that she knew a whole lot of sign language. I personally feel like she does not, from my abilities, I feel like she was not educated in sign language. She probably knows sign in the way that she knows sign along with ASL. But the fact that they're using their hands to communicate to her is a direct connection. And what an amazing thing. You know, we just don't think of some of this stuff sometimes.
Right.
Yeah. I thought
And
that was
people
really
come
cool
to
myself.
places for a reason.
Yeah. Yep. We'll have to go back and maybe try that sometime with just a small
You know,
group.
I've been
of us.
refreshing because it's kind of one of those things when you don't use it, you lose it. I can understand when I'm seeing people sign. I know what they're saying, but to sign, sometimes I'm like, oh, what is that again? I can't remember what that one is or stuff. So I've actually been refreshing because I think I want to try that.
Yeah.
But like you said, though, back in the day, it probably wasn't so elaborate
No.
like what you learned in college. So, you know,
Right.
they would probably know what you were doing.
Right. ASL
Keep it simple.
is very different.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. And even I think just going to the degree of taking a moment to use a combination of ASL and pointing and taking even pictures. I think if we maybe took some pictures of some things, like, you know, like maybe a dress, a picture of a dress and say, you know, you wear,
That's a good idea.
what you do. And
Well, you know,
and
even like
combining the
places
two.
maybe with Ashmore where they were like, some of them were severely handicapped, and you know, and
Right. Exactly.
That's a good idea.
I wonder what that would do. I wonder what that would do if we had like a booklet, because, you know, I don't know if you ladies know that I used to teach, I used to also teach special education. So I know like where we would go and we would use pictures and would be like, okay, you point, and then it would lead to a story. So I wonder if like we did something where we pointed to like a dress and use sign as well and ran like recorders. I wonder what that would do.
I don't know. That's a good idea. We'll have to try it. We'll
I
come
know,
up with
right?
something.
I mean, what's it hurt, right?
Right.
It's just very interesting to think about.
Brandy, you're on mute.
Sorry, I hit it on accident. What I think is interesting is that spirits are able to learn. We know this because we actually teach them how to use our equipment.
Right.
You know, we show them, we tell them what to do, everything. And can you imagine going in, say with Goldie, and then teaching her sign language?
Holy crap.
And to see if you could like teach her a few words and then maybe have her communicate.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm trying to figure out how she would communicate. I bet you we still would get EVPs
Yeah.
because I mean they're not. It's different for them.
It may not be necessarily anything verbal that we can understand, but it could be something.
Right.
Yeah. I wonder if that would even like change my mediumship to a degree. I wonder if I would see the sign.
I
I
don't
don't
know.
know.
I'm sorry, I'm
Try
trying
and
to
let us know.
left field here, but that like kind of blew my mind where I'm like, oh, that is interesting. This
It's
is
like-
what makes ghost hunting fun.
Yeah, because we're just sitting here trying to figure out
We're
how to
just sitting here
communicate
thinking,
with
like,
the
what-
spirit
what-
better.
what
There we
if?
go.
What if we did this?
What
Yeah.
if?
I know
Well,
you ladies can
That's why
understand it
when we
like,
go on investigations and we haven't seen each other for a while, don't you know? You notice we don't hardly investigate.
No.
oh, I
Right.
know that is really
Never.
Well, I know that
isn't
one
it?
time I came up to Ashmore and I think we all sat outside all night, Terry. And I think it was just my kid and Nick and Nikki's kid that was investigating. We all sat outside and BS'd all night.
We did.
I'll sit with Terry and Holly most generally.
Yeah.
You know what? That is why we need to like do more like things together outside of like haunted locations so we can get it out of our system.
There
Oh
you go.
no, we gotta talk and hunt too, you know,
Well, too, yes. I mean, like, of course. I mean, we gotta have a game plan.
and dinner. Gotta have
And
dinner.
you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, we gotta have a
Snacks.
ladies' night.
Ladies' night, snacks.
Oh, Mark, you can come. It's okay. But you know, I mean, I think that's why we need to have like, you know, a few nights where we just have let's BS about some stuff. Let's brainstorm, and then let's go into a really haunted place and like.
You know, a good place to do that would be all of us on here, we need to get together and do Belvoir Winery.
Oh yeah.
Oh my gosh, we get tanked, and you know what? My ass would end up in the damn cornfield again. Seems like every time I get drunk at a haunted place that has a cornfield, I end up.
I don't think there's a corn.
Right. Right.
Yes, there's a cornfield over there.
But I heard that winery is supposed to be a pretty good one.
It's
I've
pretty
stayed
cool.
there. I've
It's
stayed
pretty
there a
cool.
couple times. It is very. The first time I stayed there, I had things kind of like mess with me when I'm sleeping, and I'm very funny about that. And so I you know, I don't know. I'm that gal. I come with my stage, and I'm like, get the hell out, and I put my stones out, and I'm like, this is my space. Go, 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 go. Be with the light. Yeah. And they still came into my room and messed with my feet a lot. Like I kept feeling a mess with my feet. Did I see them in my room? No, I did not see them in my room, but I did feel them.
Roxanne said that she's done the winery.
Yeah.
Yes.
Have anybody been there?
Me and Holly stopped in there one time. We were over there when we went to Hollow Waters,
Yeah.
and we went in there and just kind of walked around.
Right.
Right.
It's a beautiful.
Oh, it's
But
beautiful.
The only thing is, it's one of those places that, like, because a lot of the buildings are run down, it's a more guided.
Yes.
So if we you
can't.
it's kind of like you got to sneak off and wait
Oh.
for certain times. But if you meet the right, what?
Really.
Oh. Are you seeing that? Are you seeing that?
No,
The
you don't
old
go
odd-
nowhere. You go back to your room.
I don't know. I want to stay.
Anyways.
Old Odd Fellows Asylum.
That's
Yes.
Belmore Winery.
Yes.
Belmore
Belmore.
Winery was the old
Yes.
fellow's
So-
asylum.
It used to be where you could go into all the other buildings. There's like three, I think.
Well, I
there's
was going to
three
say
in the
those
building.
ones are pretty bad, but do they let
They
you in
are.
the one that has like a little ramp on it that was right next door? Is that one
Yes,
still
that
safe?
was the
That was-
morgue. That's
the
the morgue.
morgue and the what do they call it? The nursing home.
And the nursing home. Yes, that
Yeah.
one was closed about the 70s. The furthest one to the end is the very first hospital in all of Liberty.
Mhm.
Wow.
Over 500 babies were born there, and
Wow.
who knows how many deaths. But yes, when you walk inside of it, it was very much left because there's still the beds, there's still the things. Now, after it got popular, they had to put cameras in it and say no more because one, people could get hurt,
Right.
and two, kids were going in there and destroying stuff
Of course.
because they do that. Now, you can get tickets to their events where they will take you guided in small groups through those areas to investigate.
Well,
And
Roxanne said you can investigate, just ask the owners for permission.
that too, but I necessarily wouldn't put that out there. I know the owners. I know the owner of it. Not like on a personal level, like where we're friends, but like I've been there enough that he's like, oh yeah, you drink this. Sadly.
Sadly.
And he knows I do
So
my
he
stuff.
knows you for the other spirits.
He knows me for the other spirits.
I was
Like, I
going to
don't
say though,
mind.
those red
Come on
brick
now.
ones down on the end though are pretty bad. I mean,
The ones on the
they're
end are
not
very-
safe.
Yes.
There's a lot of places you have to be very careful.
Yeah.
There are.
Be very careful. There's like
I
holes
would
in the
not.
floor,
Yes,
like you-
I would not suggest walking around in that place I would not suggest walking around that place by yourself without permission.
No.
Right.
Now,
So
as an investigators, you go and you talk to the owners and you ask for permission. I think that everybody would be fine. But, that's to each his own. But it's a very cool location. I happen to have gotten locked out of the building at like 3 a.m, which is considered witching hour. I had my own little spaz out because I got locked out. And the poor guy who comes and regularly checks the facility, he probably thought it was a ghost because I jumped in front of his car and begged him to let me into the building.
Oh, we got a question.
Has anyone of you
had their hair pulled by a ghost or spirit.
oh my gosh, several times.
Yes, and yes. Yes,
Several
and yes.
times.
And yes. And yes.
Yes.
So Brandy, you first. Tell us your experience of having your hair pulled.
I'm telling you what, it's happened so many times I don't even know where to start. I mean, it's not necessarily a pull sometimes either. It could be like a tickle, like they'll just kind of like play with my hair a little bit and it'll be more like a tickle, but it happens. Let me see, where has it happened at?
For me, the main place, I've had it happen at the museum, and I've also had it happen at Pythian Castle.
Yeah.
I had it happen at Rhodes Hotel.
Yes, most definitely.
Rhodes Hotel, it happened to me. Ashmore's happened to me. Oh geez, it's all
I
the
think
it's all the
any
time.
woman who's an investigator has had that happen to them.
Oh yeah.
I would agree. I would
Yeah,
definitely agree.
I don't like when they pull
Holly,
my hair
Terry,
because
would
then
you
it makes me
agree?
mad.
I mean, like that's kind of if you're a female and you have like
Right. Especially if you're in somewhere where it's men only,
Right.
yes,
Right.
it's kind of a thing. Like they really like they will pull, they will tug, and it doesn't matter if you have like up to here hair, like if you have a bob cut or you have long hair, there's like no preference. It's like kind of like what you said, if it's jail, things like that. I notice there's more hair pulling.
Yeah, a lot of the times though, if my hair gets touched, it'll be lightly, such as in a nursing home, hospital, it'll be lightly. But you're right, when you get into penitentiaries, jailhouses, or anything male dominant, it seems like it's a little bit more aggressive. I don't know if that's with anybody else, but it's definitely for me that way.
Right.
Oh yeah. All the
Hey, I
time.
just want to say real quick, I want to apologize to everybody because I keep going off camera, but I'm getting over COVID. So when I get in my coughing fits, I blank myself out and go on
She has to
mute.
cough.
So just to let everybody know,
I thought
I'm
you
really not
probably
trying
told
to be
them that
rude.
already. That's why I didn't say like. Yeah. Okay. Sorry.
We
Chris.
weren't
I thought
making
you
a big
told them that.
issue.
Yeah, well, I feel bad because I keep going off. I'm like, people are thinking I'm like Taking
No,
some
she
big
has
dope or
COVID and she
something.
doesn't want to cough.
Well,
We
you
were
still-
trying to ignore you.
You look, honestly, Krista, you look pretty good for COVID.
Yeah, you should have. I looked like death yesterday.
Well, you clean up nicely, so that's good.
I did shower today, and I put clothes on.
She's
today.
making fun.
Clean up nicely for COVID. I remember you know what I mean. Did that sound terrible? Krista, you know what I mean. If anybody else thinks I'm mean, she knows what I mean.
I know what you mean.
Krista, see me at my bottom.
Yep.
Krista scraped me up with a shovel off my bottom
Yeah.
and flipped me over like cat poop.
Yeah. I think
You know-
I think Mark had to do that the other night on Saturday night with you.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, Brandy.
Yeah.
I just have to say, okay, Colin, I guess I put the shot thing in my purse.
Yeah, the shot.
Colin found it.
So why don't you explain to everybody, since you brought it up, what the shot
Let's
is?
not. That's for another show.
No, it's for this one.
No, I'll go and tell him. We bar. It's for this one. We went to a bar. Us three blondes were together and living it up. They were giving out shots.
Krista
They were
did
in
not
the
do them
syringe.
though.
What?
Krista did not. That was Aaron and Brandy.
Yeah, you tell.
You didn't do it, Krista?
No.
No, it was just me and you.
Yeah, I didn't do it.
No. I'm closer to you than Krista today. So me and Brandy were being the cool ones of the bunch.
Yeah.
And they had shots and they were in syringes. And I thought, okay, cool, Jello shots. Yeah, me and Brandy. Awesome. We're gonna do it. The syringes were penises. And like, you had to
And they were large.
They were like, oh, yummy, yummy, yummy. And we
And
took it.
it wasn't like a little syringe either.
No, it was
No. No, they were large.
There was a lot there. And I guess my drunk butt decided that I was gonna save it because I'm a pack rat. And I hoard things, I guess. And so I was like, oh, I'm going to save this for something. What? I have no idea. But I was going to save it. So I put it in my purse. Well, I was digging around my purse trying to find my son lunch money this morning. And guess what I found? I found a syringe penis. My 13-year-old is proud as ever as his mother. His mother's best, I guess.
Mine's in my car door. And every time I open or shut it or go around the corner real quick, I can hear it go clunk, clunk.
That's better than, finding it in your purse when you're trying to find lunch money at 6 a.m. For your 13-year-old son. You go, what is this?
Nothing.
There's still a little bit of blue Jello shot at the tip.
All right. So, what's the best evidence anybody's ever got?
No, we have a question. So Teri, we'll let you answer this first. What's the scariest you've ever been of a ghost or a spirit?
I would say here at the County Museum. Oh, it said Teri?
Yeah.
Oh,
well,
no, that's
yes,
okay.
It said Teri.
I'm still thinking.
Wait, my turn. I'm sorry.
I probably have to say the weekend we were up there at Ashmore with Jeremy and Danny and all that was going on we chased shadow figures and we were like even kind of setting up traps, like sitting on the wrong side of the doorway. And I mean, it was intense sitting there in the dark by yourself. Like we spread out and was trying to catch them. And I mean, it was a pretty scary. I've never been scared to run or want to quit, but I mean, that kind of puts you on edge when you just waiting for something to come around the corner and somebody else is chasing it your direction.
Yeah. What about you, Holly?
I have to say we were in the Peoria hospital and Mason and I were sitting in the morgue and the other group was out in the other room. Teri was out in the other room with Jolene. Actually, I think it was Tammy, but we were sitting in the morgue and we heard a male voice like clear his throat between us, and my son said, "That was weird. Did one of you guys just clear your throat?" And audible between us, it was a grovelly old male voice that said, "Get out."
Yeah,
I
that'd be
remember
creepy.
that.
I got it on my recorder, and we got out because just the
Who's
way the
on?
voice said it, it was creepy. It was very creepy.
Yeah,
Like, get out of
that
my
would be
space
creepy.
now. Mhm.
What about you, Brandy?
Well, I had a few take your breath away moments. My most recent one was Brushy Mountain. We were in cell block D, the worst of the worst. We were on the bottom floor and coming around. Now there's just me and one other woman. There's no men in this building whatsoever. We come around the corner. She goes down the cell block and I stop and I look back down the hallway that we just came down and I seen a full body apparition not 10 feet from me.
Yeah, that's. Well, I'll tell you, I got to tell you one of my scariest, and Holly was there. That was the night, Holly, we did the cleansing up at the museum,
Yes.
and you know what I'm
definitely.
talking about. That was not a good night at all. I mean, we had a fellow investigator actually. I don't want to say possessed because it wasn't demonic, but he had it jump him, I guess would be the best way to put it. And that was pretty scary, I gotta
Yeah,
say.
that was a very scary
That
night.
would have
too.
been.
Yeah, that was. So we have another question. Shaman Sundays, who is Brandon Cooper, he wants to know who our favorite person in the paranormal that you've ever met. Terry and Holly, you guys answer that first, and then we'll answer.
Oh gosh, I've met so many.
Yeah. It's hard to say. I think I would have to say the Ghost Brothers because they are hilarious. And
They're funny.
they're so down to earth and just nice guys. And Destination Fear, I think, because they're really good guys too.
Yeah. What about you, Terry?
Oh gosh. Yeah, the Ghost Brothers are fun. I've actually investigated with them like 3 or 4 times, and they are a lot of fun. As far as I'm just trying to think who we were up there. Gus and Perry, the Kling
Yeah.
brothers. Love the Kling brothers. I gotta
Yeah,
give a
I do
shout out.
too.
Yeah, if I would have to pick, I'd have to pick the Kling brothers.
Yeah, they're awesome. They really are. What about you, Brandy?
You know what? I think investigating with all of you. I think
Aw.
that it's, you know, I mean, honestly, that I've made better relationships and I just, you know, it's just friendships you just can't seem to live without.
No,
So-
it's true.
I agree.
Very true.
So you all are my favorites.
Well, thank you. Thank you. Aaron and Mark, who's your favorites of the paranormal that you've ever met?
Oh, that I've ever met?
Yeah.
Oh,
Hey, if you're not sharing, spit it out.
Okay. For me, I mean,
Aaron,
it's all like Jessica Potter, who
Mhm.
is now a close friend of mine. She's taught me a lot of what I need to know. So before we were friends, it was kind of like this distance thing.
Yeah.
If you're talking TV people, Cindy Kaza or Kaza, I mean, like, she is phenomenal.
She's super sweet. I agree with you.
I have taken several classes from her, and she is genuine. She is 110% genuine.
I would agree.
I have to the way that she talked to my son when he met her, I mean, she gave him so much information. She's been wonderful. I've taken several classes from her as well, and she's very wonderful. But in person, she's just as amazing.
Yeah.
Dave Schrader.
yes.
Dave Schroeder. Yeah, he's
That's
fun.
That's my guy. That's my
Yeah,
guy.
he is.
We're going to see him next weekend.
Yes.
I
I'm
know.
pretty excited about that.
Where's he gonna be at?
Man
Scare
crush.
Fest.
That's at Scarefest. That's
Yeah.
Mark's man crush.
I
Yeah.
actually, Mark's I actually investigated with him. Oh, we've done Mansfield, Ohio prison when he was really into darkness radio, and that's actually when Ghost Adventures had very first started. They'd probably only been out a season or two, and they had a big weekend event down there. And Dave Schrader was the host. He is a riot.
He is. Isn't he just like down to earth? Like, really, like he. I don't know how to explain him. He's very big. He's a very big personality, but he's real.
Yeah.
He's very real, and he's very sensitive as well, like emotionally sensitive. He has several kids. He's got a wife, like all of that business. So when you start tapping into things like that, he's very touched. I investigated with him at Belvoir Winery, and he was really wonderful, and spent a whole weekend with him over there. He's a very awesome guy. Love hearing his stories. And then I also have to say Adam Berry was awesome from Kindred Spirits.
Yeah.
He was pretty darn cool. He sat around and just hung out with people. He took the time to, my two sons, they are huge Kindred Spirits fans, and him and Amy Bruni took the time to make a little video for the boys, to tell them, I'm sorry you couldn't come. You know, you guys are awesome. And that, I mean, it's not like on the investigating terms of things, but on the personal side of things, that they took the time for my sons, who are huge fans, and they took the time to take a video and say, hey, say their names and stuff like that. That meant a lot to those kids. So I have to say those guys were pretty cool.
Okay, so you both have to promise me that you're going to give hugs to all these people you're going to see, and tell them I said hi.
Sure, absolutely.
I'm going to be sitting at home on my tuchus. Wait.
Well, I gotta say, for my favorites, I have several. So I do agree with Terry. I think the Kling brothers rock.
Kling brothers were pretty cool. Yeah.
100%, 110%. I mean, very down to earth, very personable.
Fancy Race Chasers were good though too.
I think the Race Chasers
Race
are
Chasers
by far the
were-
most.
yeah.
They were pretty damn cool. They hung out, and they were pretty damn cool.
They were good too. Obviously, I think all of us here, Katie Stafford, we knew him before he was ever on TV.
Right.
So I do need to give a shout out to him.
Well,
Honestly, I can say that he is the same now being on TV than before he was on TV. He's still real. He's still, he doesn't have a big head, and he's very much down to earth. He's still the same person. So I do got to give a shout out to KD. And then, and I will say another person that I know, some you guys don't know, Josh Hurd. I really liked him, and I talked to him a lot, and he connected me. He gave me the connection to. I know this is gonna ruffle some feathers, but with Stormy Daniels, and I'll tell you what. I'll keep her personal life out of it, but as a person and an investigator, I talked to her, I can't even tell you how long, and she's very passionate about it, and I appreciate what she does for the paranormal, aside from her profession. That's all I'll say about that. Yeah. So, anyway.
I'm glad you mentioned Katie. It's hard for us when we're really good friends with, people that are on TV. We forget. As sad as it sounds, we forget, like, oh, those are like the coolest ones we met, because they're real. They're real there, and they're real here. So it doesn't really for one of us. Like, it just doesn't. What I see on TV with Katie Stafford is the same what I've seen when I've investigated with him 5 million times, or when we hang out. Like, I mean, like, that's how he is.
Yeah,
100%.
I would agree. Absolutely,
he is an awesome guy. I mean, so I think
we're losing Aaron.
Yeah, I can hear a loud ringing or.
Yeah. So we have another question, and then we're gonna have to like cut it from here because I got to go to bed, man. I'm wore out. But Country Boy Cryptid wants to know if we've all had run-ins with demonic spirits. So we'll go one at a time.
I haven't.
No. All the places you've been to, Terry, you've never had a run-in with a demonic entity?
No, I think they're so far and few between. I mean,
That's
I think
true,
if you were an
yeah.
a-hole in life, you're not going to be so friendly when you get to the other side also.
Right.
But I mean, in general, you know, nothing's ever come up out of the middle of the floor to grab me. And I think a lot of people get maybe a wrong impression because they see something dark and they automatically think it's a demon. I mean, we done an investigation and the neighbors had this lady scared to death because she saw a shadow figure and they, oh, well, it's dark and it's black. It's got to be a demon. And she's afraid to live in her
Right.
house. And we go over there and long story short, the lady that lived in her house before was her best friend who died of cancer. And we've got
Right.
EVPs where the lady is trying to just contact her and let her know, hey, I'm still here. But I mean, demonic.
Exactly.
I mean, I took the class and I've studied a little bit about it, but I just think they're so far and few between.
Yep, I agree.
110%. 110%. You know, I can even say, like, with here at the museum, when I saw that figure that turned into like a lizard frog body. I mean, they say that would be demonic. You know, they turned into some sort of serpent.
Right.
This to me, I knew it was mental illness. You know, they're shaping themselves to be scary for me because they know I can see them, and they're changing themselves. It was not demonic.
Right.
Yeah.
And it was a very serious situation. But I mean, you take mental illness. I was seeing through the eyes of mental illness.
Yeah. What about you, Holly?
I don't know. I don't think I've ever ran into a demonic spirit. I mean, we had that happen at the Ray County Museum that night. I think that's the scariest probably run-in I've had with something.
And that was actually a human spirit. It
Yeah.
was not demonic. You know, it was nasty in life, nasty in death, and that's what he was.
Right.
Yeah.
Hey, I gotta cut in here real quick, guys. I got my old dog outside the door just a whining, so I'm gonna take off and go see what he's been at it for about 20 minutes. So
Okay.
I gotta go take care of my old man.
Okay.
Yes,
Good to see you, Terry.
Love
See
you.
you
Bye.
Bye. Love you guys.
Bye-bye. Brandy, what about you with having have you had any demonic encounters?
I have not. But I'd probably be one of those people that'd be like, here, you want a Twizzler? You know, would you like a piece of candy? Will that help you make you feel better? But no, I have not. In honestly, I'm the type of person I do not want to. Krista and I have had this discussion because we do investigate and we do home investigations, private investigations, and I am not that person. If it were to become, a demonic case, I will not be involved. I do not want to be involved.
Same here.
Because once
Same
you're
here,
seen, you're marked. And I don't.
Absolutely.
I've got a young daughter at home, and I don't need that.
Yeah.
Yep. I get it 110%. That's what Krista
Well,
and I
I
talked about
personally-
this at length, too.
Yeah, I personally have done several demonic cases that truly were demonic. And as everybody said here in stress, demons are real, but they're very, very far and few between. Most of them are just nasty human spirits.
Yeah.
But there's been a few that were truly demonic. And so I hope that answered your question, Country Boy Cryptids. So
That was a candy. Brandon, the next time I see you, I'll bring you some candy. You want some Twizzlers? That's my favorite. I always usually have those. Every investigation, I've got Twizzlers.
Us.
Yeah.
Twizzlers are a must.
Yeah. Holly, I guess you were there that night at the museum, and I guess we can we won't go into exactly what happened, but maybe we can kind of touch base about what happened that night,
Right.
let everybody know at the museum there was a nasty spirit there, and he is now gone. We did get rid of him that night, but he at one time he had choked me, and I know he had jumped Erin there at the museum. She had a bad encounter with him. And a friend of ours, he's very, very sensitive, and he gets rid of these things. So we were at the museum, and it literally, Holly, you were up there when it entered him, weren't you?
Yeah, I was up there.
And he was standing between Kathy and I, and he went to fall down, and Kathy and I walked him into the schoolroom and sat him at one of the old desks, and he looked at me. And I will tell you, he almost looked demonic, but it wasn't. His eyes went black, and he had told another investigator to stand in front of me and him because he was going to come after me. And you could see it in his face. Like, it was pure hate. I mean, like, totally hated me.
Yeah.
And
chills went up and down my body. It was
yeah. And it took, and this guy's not a big guy at all, but it took, how many? There was Greg Tuker, there was Nick, and Kathy was all holding him down. You were holding him down, weren't you?
I was holding his legs. Yeah.
Yeah. And it took all of these people to hold this little guy who's, maybe 150 pounds down, and the room kind of got a little torn up in there, but we ended up getting it out of him and getting it out of the museum. So that was a really bad deal. That was.
Yeah.
Yeah, that demonic thing needed a Twizzler.
It wasn't demonic though, Brandy. It wasn't demonic. It was a human spirit. He was just nasty.
Brandy was like, he needed a Twizzler.
He needed a Twizzler.
Peel it apart.
Definitely, but I mean, evil nonetheless. I mean, there are evil people,
Right.
but evil nonetheless, just evil.
Yeah.
And that's the kind of stuff I don't want to encounter. I know I will at some point.
It's life changing when you do.
The evil things. I know it's going to happen. I've ran up against some grumpy, call me every cuss word in the book and all that kind of stuff. But I know there's an evil one that I'm going to run against. I'm going too many places to not run into one.
Yeah.
And, it's just being prepared. Make sure you're prepared when you walk into these places, that it could be that time, that it could happen to you, so that's why I make sure, like, I go with Holly and Teri a lot. So I make sure I'm with somebody who knows what to do in a situation, where to go, how to get out, what to do. And, because you that's why you should never investigate by yourself, ever.
Yep.
Oh no,
Absolutely.
that is the dumbest damn thing ever.
It is. It is.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And you see these guys out here, I'm out here by myself with my GoPro or, my phone. And I'm like, you're dumb.
Yeah.
You're dumb. What happens when your phone dies?
Mhm.
What happens when that spirit just sucks it up and have no battery?
Exactly. Because I have been in those situations. I thought, I have to say, like, as a sensitive, I thought one time, you know what? I know what's coming. I got cocky. I will admit, it put me in my place.
Yeah.
I am not afraid to say that. As a sensitive, I got a little cocky.
Yeah. Well, DA says going out investigating cryptids alone is a great way to wind up missing 411. Not kidding.
That is true. Yeah. True facts.
Well,
I went, but I got a little cocky one time, and I opened up way too much, and I got jumped. Yeah. And that is something to me that ever since that has happened, I very much have realized what capabilities spirits have.
I will never be far from my partners. Not far. Right. Now I may be in the room or down the hall, but
myself.
Right.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. I may be down the hall or something or around another room, but I am not doing it.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Right.
Yeah.
You're breaking up, hon. I was just continuing on.
Right.
Just trying to help.
Woohoo! Yes.
Hey
Do you
guys,
need a
we've been going on for 2 hours, and
Right.
seriously,
We
I
have.
gotta
Yeah.
go to bed.
It's time to go.
Yeah, it's time to wrap this up for sure. Holly,
you,
I want to
guys.
thank you very much for coming on here and
Yeah,
doing
thanks
this
for
with
having
Thanks,
us.
Holly.
Thanks.
Yes.
Yes, thank you.
We're gonna have to get
And-
together real soon and
Yeah,
plan
we are.
something.
Together.
Yes,
Yeah.
and I'm sorry that everything was so jumbled. You know,
Oh,
I
no
think that
problem.
there was something with the full moons because there has been stuff going on everywhere
Mhm.
with them double full moons. I'm telling
Yeah.
Right.
It's
but
I do want to say on Monday evening, the three of us are doing Texas Front Porch podcast, and I'll post the link. And then on Tuesday night, we have the Cajun demonologist Jeremy Leonard
Oh.
Yep.
will be on.
Yep.
So Monday and Tuesday of next week, we've got some pretty good stuff coming up. So
Do we have anything on Thursday, or are we out on
no, we
Thursday?
did Tuesday because Jeremy couldn't do Thursday.
Okay, so nobody look for us on Thursday. I'll be
Yeah.
sleeping.
Yep, it'd be Monday on Texas Front Porch and Tuesday on right back
Absolutely.
here.
Yeah, because I'll be sleeping.
Yeah, me too. Me too. So, all right, guys, I want to thank everybody for tuning in, and you guys have a good night, and we will see you all next week.
All
Thank
right,
you.
thank you. Bye. We'll see you
Bye.
next time.
guys, goodbye.
Bye.